Hey there, welcome to another Photoshop tutorial. My name is Andrei, and in this video I want to show you how I created this abstract wallpaper with all this colorful lights and things around this woman. And this was supposed to be the first premium tutorial on my premium section when I created that back in 2012. But in the end I ended up creating a free tutorial, and I have the text version of this on my website. I published it about a year ago, and you can see it right here. If you go to the tutorials, go here on the abstract sub menu and scroll down until you find it, or just use the search box and type wallpaper with beauty models or something like that, and you'll find it. And this is the text version. It has about 13 steps, and here you can find the exact values of the colors that I used. So if you want to use the exact values, you can use this step by step. It's pretty detailed, so it might help you. You can see the values here, the blend mode and everything. Because on this video I will use the colors by eye. I will not use the exact values. What I want to show you in this tutorial is how to extract hair. Let me go back to Photoshop. I want to show you how to extract hair. It's not really difficult because we have it on a white background, and also how to use contrast masking to keep the original shadows. So it's a technique that you might find useful on some images. And about the stock images, this model is from Shutterstock, so I'm not allowed to give the image to everybody. So what I will do is include it on the download for premium members. Right here under the final result, you'll find a button which will allow you to download the PSD file, the stock images, the step-by-step in HTML format, the video, and also I'll convert it into PDF just in case. And as I said, it will include the stock images, so you'll find this model there. But well, if you're not a premium member, you can find other images on DeviantArt or maybe other websites, and just find a similar image, and that's it. Let's go back to Photoshop, and well, let's get started. Okay, the difficulty of this tutorial is about, I think it's an intermediate tutorial. It's not really difficult. I'll show you how to make all these light effects and shapes and everything. It's not really difficult. So the first thing I'll do is copy the canvas dimensions and create a new one. Oh, I already have it ready right there. Okay, so the background is really simple. What I did is I used the gradient tool, and I used a really light gray for the background with a really smooth transition. You can see right here. As I said, on my website you have the values if you want to use the same values. And then I created, with the radial type, I created a gradient, something like, I want something a bit darker. Maybe it's too dark. Yeah, it's too dark. Let's choose something a bit brighter, like so, and create a gradient like that. Okay, so this is our background, really simple. And then I converted this into a smart object. If you have a previous version of Photoshop which don't allow you to use smart objects, simply skip this. But the reason why I convert this into smart object is because now I will go to filter and add some noise, and I want to be able to adjust this noise, because this now becomes a smart filter, and that way it's a non-destructive technique. Okay, and that's why I use this. And I use a really small amount, 3 or 4%. And whenever you use this noise filter, I recommend you go on full on 100% zoom, because that's the best way to see the noise. And make sure you have this set to monochromatic. Otherwise you might see some colors there which are not nice. So let's leave it on 3%, I think it's better. And click OK, so that way we have just a bit of texture here in the background. Okay, you can use patterns if you want, it's up to you. Okay, so our background is ready, it's really simple. let's move on and add our model. I want to show you how to extract the hair and everything. So let's go and open the image. I will not spend time extracting her, I already have it here, but I just want to show you how I did that. I used the pen tool as always. So I got the pen tool. I set this here to path. So then create a layer mask, zoom in, and start your path somewhere here, and just follow it. I'm doing it really quick. Obviously you should carefully follow this. It takes a bit of time, but if you use other techniques, like for example the quick selection tool, the edges are not really that good. And on top of that, on this particular image, the background is really bright and her dress as well, so you might have some problems. But well, it depends on how you like to work. I like the pen tool, so that's why I use it most of the times. Okay, so just follow the contour like that. Something really quick. And when you get to the hair, now I explained this in other tutorials, just leave some space like that, because we will extract this using another technique. And then close the path, right click and choose make selection and click OK. And now we have this selection here. Make sure your foreground color is set to black and press Alt and backspace, and that will fill the selection with black. But you can see we masked the woman and we have the background. So select the layer mask and press Ctrl Command I to invert the layer mask. And now do the same here to eliminate this part. You can get rid of this part of hair if you want to. It's not really important to have it there. Click OK, Alt and backspace to fill with black, and the same here. Obviously I'm doing this really quick, so fill with black, and that's it. And that's how you extract the model from the background, and we will deal with the hair in just a second. Let me close this and go here and open. This is the original extracted image that I got with the pen tool. You can see the layer mask here, and you can see that the edges are perfect and we have the space around the hair. So what I will do now is get the move tool, click on the canvas and drag this to my other tab and let go. And I will close this because I no longer need it. What I want to do now is make this smaller. I don't know, let's see, about 50%. Oh, it's perfect. Let's put it right there. Let's leave it there, just a couple of pixels down. And what I want to do now, I want to keep this layer mask just in case I want to modify something. So, but I want to create now another layer mask for the hair. So what I will do is right click and choose convert to smart object. If you have a previous version of Photoshop, or if you're not able to use smart objects, what I would do is create a copy with Ctrl Command J, and then another copy, because I will need one of this for the shadows. So create two copies, hide one of them, which you can name backup, for example, and you can drag it down just in case. And this other one, well, I'll name it original shadows, and I will link it to the other one because I want it to be exactly on top. Okay, so I'll select both of them, right click and choose link layers, and I will name the top one model. Okay, so now I have both of them. I will hide the bottom one because I know I don't need it yet. And let's work on this one. I will convert this into a smart object, as I said. Okay, I have to link them again, so convert it into a smart object before you link them. Okay, so now I have these two layers which are linked. So if I want to move one of them, both move at the same time, which is what I want. I want it to have it exactly on top of each other. Okay, so now let's see how we can deal with this hair. The first thing I want to do is select the entire the contents of the layer. So I'll press Control or Command and click. You can see the cursor changes there on the thumbnail, and click on it. You can see it loads the edges. And now I'll select one of the selection tools here, any rectangular marquee tool or any marquee here. And then you can see the refine edge appears. You can also go to select and choose refine edge. So click on refine edge. And you can see that we have sort of a brush selected. You can change the size of this from here on the top left. Okay, you can see it changes. And what we want to do here is, this technique only works, well, it works on every image, but it works a lot better if you have images like this, where you have dark color over a solid color background. So a solid color background, okay? It doesn't matter the color. And what I want to do here is paint over the hair, but the first thing I want to do is change the view to on black, because you'll see it better. And I'll start to paint over the hair. And you can see that Photoshop masks that background, okay? And for this area, I'll make it a bit smaller. So I'll paint mostly on the white, but I want the bottom of the brush to touch the hair as well. So because I want to tell Photoshop, Photoshop can then make the calculations a lot better, because it can identify the background and what I want to keep a lot better. So just paint over the hair like that. And then we will change the view. I'll tell you why. But let's make the first pass like that. We will have some problems on some areas, obviously. Like any other tool in Photoshop, this is not perfect, so we will have to make some touch-ups. Okay, and you can see it constantly updates these areas where I paint. Okay, let's make the brush a bit bigger. Great, and that looks nice. Let's go here on the bottom and try to deal with that part as well. And I'll make the brush a bit smaller and paint this area right here. Okay, it looks nice. We have these areas here, but we will not worry too much about those. And once you have the main hair selected, most of it selected and masked, what you can do, you can play with the smart radius if you want to, and you can also play with these sliders here. If you increase the contrast, you will see this semi-transparent areas here will start to go away. So, but you have to be careful, because you will also lose detail on the hair, and our objective is to keep all these hairs visible. So if you increase this too much, you will start to lose that, and that's not what we want. So let's leave this to 0. I'll just increase it just a bit. And also the shift edge will do the same. So make really small changes here. And once you're done with that, what you should do is change the view to on layers, okay? Because you can see that part there which was visible on black. When you view this, when you view it on the original background that you have, you can make better judgments, because it blends with the background and is not that visible. We lost some of the hairs, but we will recover that when we work with the shadows, and that's really cool. You'll see that in a second. I'll click OK now. Well, I'll change the output to layer mask, because I want to make a layer mask, not a selection, and click OK. And we still need to make some touch-ups, as I said. So I'll select the layer mask now of the model layer, and I'll get the brush tool, set the opacity and flow to 100%, and adjust my brush. And what I want to do is bring back some of these parts here, painting with white on this model layer mask. And also I want to hide this part. I'll decrease the hardness and switch to black, because I want to paint this area here. Since we're painting on the layer mask, what I will do is I will enable only the layer mask so you can see it. You can do that if you press and hold the Alt key and click on the layer mask, and it will switch to the layer mask view. You can see that we have this area here which is gray. So what you can do, I'll undo what I painted here. What you can do is a technique that it's used mostly on the channels, but you can use it here as well, is change the brush mode to, let's say, soft light. and paint with black over this gray part. And what will happen is if I paint with this configuration here over the white, nothing will happen because we are on the soft light blend mode, and this only affects the blacks. You can see the hair is pretty much untouched. Of course, we have the opacity at 100%, so it affects it. But if you make simple passes like that with a lower opacity, you can see the white areas stay white, and areas that are not completely black become darker. Okay, and as I said, we will recover some of this hair, so don't worry too much, but try to keep as much as you can. Okay, let's remove that part from there as well, and maybe some from here. And let's disable the layer mask view, pressing Alt and clicking on it again. And I will now change the mode back to normal and leave the opacity and flow to 100%, because I want to make sure I have the dress perfect here. So I'll paint with white to bring back any masked part. Okay, and actually you can even remove this hair here. I'll show you why. I'll remove it completely, and you'll see why in just a second. Remember that we still have these original shadows, which will help us to bring back some of the hair. And that's a technique that only works with images that have white background or something really, really bright. Okay, we have most of the hair there, but we lost some detail. No problem. Let's go to the original shadows layer. I'll hide the model layer for now and unhide the original shadows. We will use the contrast masking technique. I have a tutorial about that. In fact, on my website, on the same tutorial, if you scroll down a bit, you'll find this tutorial here, contrast masking, extracting shadows. So you can watch this video as well if you want to. The first thing I want to do is remove the layer mask because I don't need it. Delete. Because what I want is these shadows, these really soft shadows. I want to keep them. And the next thing that I want to do is convert this into black and white. So you can press, let's see, Shift and U maybe? No. I don't know what's the command for that. To desaturate, let's go to Image Adjustments, Desaturate, Shift, Control and U, okay? And that turns the image into black and white. And now I will change the blend mode of this to Multiply. And what happens with this is that parts of the image that were white, you can see right here on top, they go away, but the dark parts remain. Of course, our background is not completely white, you can see that right here, but we can use levels. If you press Control Command L, you will open the levels, and if you slide this midtones slider to the left, and this one as well, you can see they go away. Okay, but we're not interested in this part. We can delete it using the eraser tool, a really soft eraser. I'm more concerned about these areas here, but I want to re-enable the model layer, because now I will judge a lot better. So what I will do now is go back to the original shadows layer and press Control Command U, because now I have both layers active and I can see it a lot better. And I will use these sliders to just move this around and make sure I have no borders. You can see it's this border right here. I will remove that with the brush. I just want to keep some of those shadows there, right there, okay. And I removed too many highlights from there, and you'll see something interesting here on the hair. I'll zoom in, and you can see that now we have all the hair right here, and that's because on the original shadows we have this on Multiply, and part of the hair that we lost here is visible on the layer underneath. Okay, see that? And that's why I like this technique. You can see even that hair that I deleted is still here. It's black, it's not brown like here, but well, anyway, it's not really that visible. That's why I said this technique only works with images that have white background. Okay, I want to delete this edge here using a soft eraser, like that, and here as well. Okay, if when you're on the original shadows layer, if you increase too much the highlights, you will start to lose that hair. I'll show you that. See that? So make sure you make really small adjustments, really small changes. And you can see that we now have those shadows on our original background. And the reason why I did that is because now I can put objects behind the model without, and they will interact with that shadow. You'll see that right now, because I will create a new layer on top of that shadow actually. And I'll get the pen tool, change this to shape. What I want to do is this shapes here. You can see this blue, this, okay, and just create some crazy shapes. Let's change the color to this sort of blue. Oh, that's too big. Something like that. Just some random shapes. Don't worry too much about how they look. And let's change the blend mode of this to multiply, for example. But it's too dark, so let's make it brighter. Like so. Okay, and let's try moving it under the shadows to see how they look. Oh, it looks the same. Okay. Be careful with the shapes. If you put them too close, you can see you'll start to see the problems on the mask. So you can get the brush tool and refine the mask here to make sure you don't see any background through it. Okay, we have that shape there. Let me take a look at the original. Pretty much the same. As I said, on the website you have the exact values of these colors. And then create another one, again with the pen tool. Let me get my pen because it's all easier than with the mouse. You can do it with the mouse, no problem. Let's make another abstract shape here, but let's change the color to that green tone. And you can work with the multiply blend mode, but you can also try, for example, the color burn. And once you have the blend mode, play with the hue, with the saturation, and with the brightness of the color. I think something like that will work. Let's leave it there. Probably zoom in just a bit to see it a bit better. And then let's add another one right here. I don't remember the color. Yeah, it was a green as well. Anyways, let's create another one with another color. Maybe a purple color. And you can see I'm just making shapes that are sticking out just a bit, just to have some colors there. Okay, and let's try another blend mode, linear burn for example, and change the color. Like that. I'll want to shift it horizontally. You can see if you put both of them, one on top of the other, depending on the blend modes that you have here, they interact differently. So for example, if I change this to multiply, you'll start to see they look different a bit. So yeah, I'll leave it like that. Okay, so now we have these shapes here. Let's add more abstract stuff. I'll put this a bit higher up. We can add more abstract things to this. Let's go back to our folder. I also use these two images. These images are from visualfreak.com. These are sample images. These are not the full resolution, so I can give you these ones. You can go to their website. I ended up purchasing the entire pack because this I really like these shapes, but these are small resolutions and you can use them. I don't know if this pack is still on their website. You can check it if you want to. And I'll put this under the model. Let's paste that there. And the only thing I wanted is to have some colors like that, to have this shape and that color sticking from behind. and then you can duplicate that, move it around, and just rotate it and place it there. It's not really difficult, as I said. It's an easier tutorial, simply placing some objects there. And let's get the other one, this red one, and let's get rid of this. I'll give you the link to that website if you want to check their packs there. They have some really cool packs with all sorts of pre-made designs and shapes like this if you want to create wallpapers or stuff like that. Let's leave it there and then move it maybe somewhere here. Let's try flipping it. Duplicate and make it maybe a bit smaller. So you can see it's just a matter of putting some abstract stuff behind our model. Let's close that, and I think that's enough. Okay. The next thing that I added is I wanted to have some more colors, so I used another stock image from DeviantArt this time. You can find this. I'll give you the link to this pack of images. This is a PNG image with pre-cut. You can see all these leaves here. I'll get the polygonal lasso tool and start cropping stuff from here. Control C, go back to my canvas here, and I'll paste this. I'll create a group because I'll create a new layer first and press Control Command G, and let's name these leaves. I will make two groups of leaves because I want to have some of them behind her and some of them in front. And I'll place that there and make it just a bit smaller. And place it maybe there. Then duplicate it. You can duplicate a few times, but not too many, because people will start to see that it's a cloned leaf. So you can duplicate it and change the size a bit, and maybe flipping, you can flip them around. I would duplicate it a few times, 2 or 3 times, and flip it horizontally just to change a bit the shape of it. And then you can open another one. Control C and Control V to paste that there, make it smaller. And for leaves like this, they look a bit flat if they are right on top of her body. So what you can do is open the layer styles and add some drop shadow. Okay, I'll use the global light there and change it there, and then you can increase the distance. The higher the distance, well, it would look like this leaf is further away from her body. So let's do something like this, maybe a bit lower, like that. I don't want to have it too blurred, and just a bit of shadow, like that, and maybe higher opacity, about 20% or 16 or something like that, and click OK. And let's duplicate that and move it, for example, right there. Okay, maybe here. And let's leave it like that and open another one. For example, this one. And this time I'll create another group under the model, okay? And I will name this leaves 2 and paste that one there, because I want to have some of them behind her, some of these leaves behind. Okay, let's put it somewhere there. Duplicate it and drag it with the move tool for example right there. Duplicate again, and duplicate again. I want to rotate this one just a bit. And if you want to add a bit more of depth, what you can do is blur some of them. For example, I'll get this one, which is the biggest one. By the way, I mentioned this on another tutorial. If you have the move tool selected and press and hold the control or command key, if you click on an object, Photoshop will automatically select that layer for you. You can check this auto select, but I don't like it. And what this does is when you click, it will select the layer. But I don't like that because sometimes you move things out of their place without noticing it. So that's why I like to have this unchecked and press and hold the control key when I want to move it. Okay, so what I'll do is duplicate this, move it, for example, right here, make it probably a bit bigger, move it out of the screen a bit, out of the canvas, and now I'll go to filter, blur, and choose Gaussian blur. You can also use the lens blur if you want to, and just add some blur, and you'll see how that will give a bit of depth to our model. Looks like these are really out of focus and it looks nice. And then I'll get probably this one as well and duplicate it and make it just a bit bigger, like so, and maybe move it, I don't know, right there, and apply with Control F, apply the filter again, the last used filter again. And I don't want to add too many of them, so don't add too many leaves like that. Okay, and if you want, you can change also the color of them using the hue saturation, for example. Let's see which one I used. Okay, this one. Can increase the lightness if you want to make them a bit brighter, change the color slightly. Okay, so it's just details, but they make the image look a bit better. I'll leave this one as it was right there and probably get rid of this one because we have too many of them, and make this one smaller and place it there. Okay, we have our leaves here. I will probably create another one right here because it's unbalanced somehow. Rotate it like so. Okay, I think I have too many, but anyways, I have just a few ones here, but anyways. And I'll close this because I no longer need it. The next thing that I added is I wanted to have some particles, something to make it look a bit more interesting. So I use another free pack, downloaded from the internet. I'll give you the link to it. It's free, you can use it. You can download it from the internet. So let's open this. This is just one image from the pack. It's sort of an explosion or something like that. So I'll copy it. And the good thing is that it's in PNG format, so you don't have to extract anything. Let's minimize this group. Let's close it. And I'll place this under the model. Let's select the entire thing here and group this and name it abstract shapes to organize a bit our layers palette. And I'll paste this right here, and I want to make it smaller. I press Ctrl Command T to the free transform, lock the aspect ratio right here, and make this smaller, about 50%. I think it's enough, just a bit bigger, and I'll leave it there. And what I did, they look nice like that, but I wanted to have some color. What I really wanted for this wallpaper is to have color. So I used a stock image, this one. I got this from Stock Exchange, I think. I have the link on the website if you want to download this, but you can use any colorful image. So open this with Photoshop, and I'll select the entire canvas and press Ctrl Command C. And now I'll get this layer, which I will name particles. Okay, it's this layer, and I'll paste that colorful image on top of it. You can see it's quite big. And now I want these colors to be visible only on these particles. So what I will do is clip it to the particles layer. So right click on it and choose create clipping mask, and you can see how that Now those colors are only visible on these particles here. Let's name this colors. You can try blurring it, but if the background of this colors, let me show you, is black, when you blur this, you start to lose saturation. So I'll show you that. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur. You can see the colors start to just wash away, and I didn't like that. So I left that how it was. I like how it looks, okay? So we have those particles there. The next thing that we can do is some light effects, of course. So I'll create a new layer on top of everything to where this is where I'll add my lights. Let's name this screen lights, because we will use the screen blend mode. Screen. Okay, and then get the brush tool and use a really soft brush. Okay, so hardness to 0, and the brush size, let's see, about that big. And now get colors. The brighter the color, the brighter the effect will be, the brighter the light. So let's start with this one and maybe add light there. And then you have to try colors, because not all color combinations will work nice. So for example, I have this yellow here. I'll try to use a similar color to see how it looks, and if it doesn't look right, we'll change it. Well, it doesn't look bad. And then something, let's try something with cyan or something like that towards green. And if you want less effect, use a darker tone. Instead of dropping the opacity, use a darker tone, because it always looks better. Something there. And no, I don't like that. I want something yellow or something towards the red here on the hair. I think it looks better, yeah. And now another color, a red color right here, maybe. Just a bit of light, okay. And then I create a new layer, and I'll name this dodge lights. Dodge lights. And the only thing that I did here is a single stroke of light right there on the hair, using a really dark yellow, dark orange, sorry, and increase the brush size. I will probably end up moving that leaf from there because it's not looking nice. But change this color, the blend mode, to color dodge. I forgot to do it. And we'll have to use a really dark tone because the color is too extreme. See that? If I use a color like this, it burns the image and it doesn't look right. So use a dark tone, like so, and a smaller brush, just a bit, because I only want a touch of yellow there, a touch of orange. You can see it makes it look a bit different. We have that transition from yellow to purple, which works because if you remember when I talked about colors, I have a tutorial about that. The opposite of purple on the RGB mode is yellow. That's why they combine well. I'll try to move this leaf from here if I can find it. Right here, I'll move it maybe right there and add some drop shadow on it. Okay, and decrease the opacity like that. Okay, and re-enable these ones. Okay, so that's how I created this light effect there. I'll probably make it a bit brighter, or maybe add on the screen lights. I'll add another yellow on top of that, because I have this purple here, and on top of it I'll paint a yellow light like that. And now I'll re-enable this, okay, and you can see it changes, so I'll probably have to use a darker tone. Right here. It's too bright, let's use a darker tone. And a smaller brush. I think it looked better before, but anyways, I'll leave it like that. You can also do that on this part here and also on this other parts, but you have to use really dark tones because you will burn the image. And for the model, I think I could use some adjustment layers. I'll use a gradient map as a clipping mask. I clipped it to the model. I'll use this gradient and decrease the opacity quite a lot, and maybe change the blend mode to soft light to see how it looks. Yeah, I wanted to give a bit of tone to the skin and also to the dress. Okay, let's add the last light effects. I used my lens flares right here. I used this lens flare, but you can use my free lens flares. This is from version 2, but you can use. I have lens flares on my website, so just use the search box and search for them. And whenever you have black background, if you want to keep the light and delete the background, just change the blend mode to screen. And now you can put this whatever you want. Let's leave it there, or maybe right there somewhere, or you can even put it here, but we will touch the face, which is not what I want. And let me show you the other stock images that I have. Okay, let's open version 1. This is a free pack, so you can use it. Of course, try to credit me if you can. Okay, let's get rid of that and copy the entire image, don't save it, and paste it here and change the blend mode to screen. Okay, and now you can move this around and add some light effects where you want to have them. And as a final color touch, you can use the color balance, for example, and you can give it a different color tone. Okay, on the midtones, the shadows, you can make them look different, make sort of a split tone effect. Okay, so you can see the before and after. So that's all I wanted to show you. I think I covered everything. As I said, you also have the text version on my website. If I skipped something, you can take a look there. And well, I hope you liked this tutorial, and I hope it was not too difficult. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.